So when I was looking for tags that I wanted to talk about on my channel, I was like, is anybody talking about audiobooks? And then I thought, oh my God, girl, created. And then I said, no, girl, it's probably already created. So I kept searching and searching, and I did find it. And it's called the Audiobook Tag, created by Book Buds. But the person I saw it from saw it on Susie's Book Banter. I thought it would be a good idea for me to do this tag primarily because 99% of the time I'm doing audiobooks because of my dyslexia and my ADHD too as well. It just keeps me focused more when I'm listening to a book. And then I saw like Brit in her books put on threads like, am I the only one who can't listen to a book if it's like played without the headphones? And I feel that way too. Like I have to have my headphones on to really know what's up. I can't be raw dogging. It. And that's why I need to have headphones near my bed. I discharge them because if it's near my bed, I can grab them, put them on. And who else be forgetting to charge? Sorry, the ADHD is taking over, but who else be forgetting to charge their shit? Let's get into the audiobook book tag. Okay. The first book is, do you listen to audiobooks? If not, why? Yes, I listen to audiobooks so much all the time. I listen to audiobooks so much that I have favorite narrators. You hear me? And if I saw them, I probably would pass out. You get me? Because wow, phenomenally is you. Number 2, have you used your audiobooks? Has your use of audiobooks changed over time? If so, how? Yes, when I first started using audiobooks, I thought it wasn't reading because everyone around me would tell me at that time, because I started when I was in Peace Corps listening to audiobooks, and that was 2017. People will often tell me that's not reading. So I thought I was cheating and not realizing how like ableist that language is. And then I start realizing that every time I tried to read physically, I would either get frustrated because words were mixed around or letters were mixed around. Like it just was getting too much, and it took me too long to read too. And when I say too long, it's like when you have ADHD, your attention span is impacted. You have an attention span deficit. So when I was just like, oh my God, I'm just trying to get to the book, and I'll get into a book, and then next thing you know, I don't put the book down and started something else. And audiobooks help me stay on task. So I have increased the way in which I listen to audiobooks. Currently, I think when I first started, I would do like one audiobook a month and try my best to physically read the other books versus like now, if it ain't got an audiobook, babe, I don't know what's going on. What's happening? I had somebody reach out to me to review a book, and they were like, I'll give you the ebook. And I said, better if you got the audio. So I even start doing that, making that accommodation for myself when people request that I read their books. Do you have an audiobook? That's my question. Because if you don't, it's going to take me much longer to give you the review than if you give me the audiobook. So that's something that I kind of like try to ask every time somebody reach out to me to read a book. And most books that I read, I can find them on audiobook. There's some that I can't, don't get me wrong, and some are behind a paywall. I'm looking at you, Audible shitty ass. But other than that, you got to catch me at an audiobook all the time. 3, how do you choose which book will be read versus listened to? I do a thing called hybrid reading too. If it's a nonfiction or a extremely anticipated book, I have to have it in physical and in audio, and I like to read along. And especially like series I love. Like I'm reading a series right now, and I have all of them physically, and I also have them on audiobook because there's like things that some characters say that are so profound that I want to be able to return back to that. And I love annotating, even though I'm primarily an audiobook listener, reader. So it just really, It really depends, but nonfictions, I do still listen to all of my nonfictions on an audiobook. If I got the physical book, that's great. And sometimes I'm mad at myself when I don't have the physical book. Like there was one of my favorite nonfictions I just read recently is called Why I Love Horror. And I just really wish I had the physical book because, man, some of those authors, I've been like, oh, I don't want to read their stuff for X, Y, and Z. And now I'm like, man, I should read their stuff. Hold on. And now I'm like, man, I should read their stuff. So, it's just one of those things. Number 4, do you look into narrators before you listen or go in just not knowing? Yeah, I do. Wait, let me try to be honest. No. I don't. There are some narrators. Let me read ahead before I say something. I've gotten to the point where for the most part, no matter how you sound, I'm going to listen to the audiobook. I know a lot of people who are like, I couldn't get into the audiobook. The way the person sound was too much. I had to read it physically. I'm not one of them. I'm going to probably tone that out and get through it. Unless they're set in the South and trying to sound like a Southerner, specifically a Black Southerner, and the plot is so damn lost, even Trump can't find it. And I have to hang it up. I have to hang it up. And usually if I DNF it on Audible, or if I DNF it on an audiobook, I've DNF'd it. I won't even try to read it physically. But I do have favorite narrators like my first narrator, I won't tell you the book series that he narrated because fuck her. But I really liked Jim Dale, I think was his name, was my first audiobook narrator. I was like, God damn, this is good. And then Bonnie Turpin, Jonice Pratt, I think Jonice something. I don't know why I'm forgetting her name. Joe Morton, Robin Miles, Adin Reli Ojo. Sorry, I'm finding some of them or trying to. Dion Graham, sorry. Dominic Hoffman. And I know I just said a bunch of Black people. LeVar Burton. There's just like so many Black narrators who I'm like, yes, I'm reading anything that you're reading. It don't even really have to be for real. And I remember one time there was this Black creator who said that she hated Bonnie Turpin. And I never want to go through the camera and have a talking with someone because what you mean? Bonnie Turpin is that girl. Love her down. Do you multitask while audiobook? Yes. For a while on YouTube, people used to associate me with audiobooking and Candy Crush. And I still do that. I audiobook in Candy Crush. I audiobook and clean. I just was like trying to empty some bags of things I had in my room. I emptied everything but one bag. So shout out to me. I audiobook and wash dishes. I audiobook and drive. I audiobook and go on a walk. I audiobook and work out. When I used to work out, I need to get back to working out. But I love to multitask because it really helps. It helps me chill. It helps me focus. Now, can I audiobook and do homework? No, I have not been able to do that successfully. But I can audiobook and do those other things, no problem. And I love, my favorite of everything I've said is to audiobook and play on Candy Crush or audiobook and play on my Switch. Shout out to my friends for buying me that Switch a few years ago. Appreciate you. Down. Number 6, if you're reading a series and you listen to the first book, would you ever switch to reading a later book or do they now all need to be listened to? I've never thought of that. Because I audiobook all the time. Like it's rare for me, unless it's like a manga or a comic, That's the really only time, or graphic novel is the, if I'm being honest, the really only time I read physically. So if it's not that, I'm going to start and finish that book in audio form. Like this, the series I was telling you about earlier, it's called The Last Magician. I've hybrid read all of these. And when I say hybrid read, it's like I have my headphones on and I'm like that. And then there's an extra prompt of what's so great about audiobooks. I think audiobooks make reading accessible to people who are neurodivergent. Audiobooks gives you a chance to fully be immersed in the story. There is sometimes that audiobooks have like a production and extra music and it's too much. I love N.K. Jemisin, but when she does her audiobooks, a lot of them do have music or sound in it, and that's a little too distracting for me. It's one of the reasons why I don't really watch people YouTube channel who have a lot of like sound in the background. The only person who has sound in the background and I'm okay watching their channel is Jess Owens. But other people, the sound is just way too loud and I can't get through it. And I used to have sound on mine and people were like, please stop. And I was like, great, because I don't like it too. So I guess we're all rocking with a full deck there. So that's like my only ick in audiobooks, but for the most part, I think they're really great. I think that they're becoming more and more accessible, and I love that for us. And I hope we continue to treat audiobooks as equal as we do a person who's physically reading or a person who is reading electronically. I think there's this weird elitist energy that's happening, and we just got to cut that shit the hell out and just continue to, live our lives. Because some people who can only audiobook, great. Like I know so many people who are like, Brie, I can never listen to as many audiobooks as you do. I can never read that way. And I'm like, damn, I hate that for you. I'm having a time of my life. I'm not like, you're not reading. You suck. I'm not doing none of that because you're reading. We're both getting the story. There's so many times I'm on a live with people and we're discussing the book. Somebody physically read it. Somebody read it on ebook and somebody read it on audiobook. That usually somebody is me. We all understood the story. So if we all understood the story, what is this weird ass hierarchy thing that's happening? And then people love, I love to turn the pages and feel. That's fine too, but don't say stuff like that and make people who read audiobooks feel like they're not reading. That's it. I just need this. I need that to die because it's really messed up. And a lot of kids are being told that. I can't tell you how many times I have to tell children. They're like, oh, I want to read. And they're like, well, my mom told me I have to read a real book and not a comic. What makes a comic not a real book? What makes a graphic novel not a real book? What makes a manga not a real book? We have to stop doing this. That's why we're having so many issues in our education system. That's why so many people are afraid to be their authentic selves because our society put too much stuff on what's right or wrong. Don't get me wrong. There are things that are clearly right and there are things that's clearly wrong. But for the most part, as human beings, we exist in the gray. And let's start acting like it. Other than that, thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a great day and I will talk to you soon. Bye.